Okay. Oh, we'll see if anybody joins on. Late night Friday stream. Hey everyone, throw a chat in the chat if you're here. Welcome, welcome. Happy Friday night. Sweet. Okay, so well, tonight's live stream, I just wanted to throw it together. Just wanted to chat with you guys, throw any questions in there. Also, maybe give an update on the Alcatel situation, P2001. Talk about some new products I'm going to be reviewing, things like that. But I'd love to see some chat going along. Who's watching? I see that we got 4 viewers right now, so I'd love to see who's joined us. If you want to throw a chat in there. Hey, Kevin W. Let's see if I can get this going here. Hey, it's going good. My voice is super cracky. I've had a cold this last week, but feeling much better now. You guys have probably noticed in some of my videos. So like my videos take weeks to make sometimes, and I'll just film this little teeny section. So my voice will be weird in this one part of the video, and then it'll be normal. Lady MZ, is that how I say that? Anyway, I'd love to get a pronunciation on that so I can get your name right in the future. So throw how you pronounce that. Let me know how that works. Also, is the audio good? Just want to make sure the audio is working. Cool. Okay, let's maybe just give a quick update on the Alcatel situation. Now, I put out that shorts earlier this week. So good news, Alcatel actually was already working on the problem. There were just a few issues. They had 8 reported issues out of all their launch. So pretty surprising that they've only had eight power stations with that issue so far. So that's good news. I'll probably put out like an official video on that, but I basically emailed them and they got back to me within 30 minutes, and they were telling me, hey, we're not going to charge any return shipping fees for these viewers or anybody that purchased the Kickstarter. So if you're having an issue with your Alcatel P2001, reach out to their email. I think it's cc@alcatel.cc. Let me pull this up really quick. I should have thought to do this beforehand, but I do have an official email from them about where you guys should reach out. So, okay. Dang it. Okay, yeah, cc@alcatel.cc. So this is our official customer support email. Thanks for letting me know. It sounds good. James Mason, high desert of New Mexico. Well, I'm in the high desert of Utah, so we have pretty similar weather patterns, I'm sure. You get some really good solar down there, right? Let me know about your solar conditions. How many days of sun do you get? I get a good amount here in the high desert of Utah. Okay. So let me see if I can post this somehow. I don't know how I can do chat. Maybe I can just post it in the chat. So if you guys have any issues with your P2001s, that is the email there. Okay, so you do get good sun. That's great. Awesome. Okay, well, who saw the video today about the Reliabat 100 amp hour battery? Really cool, right? Did you guys think that was cool, having built-in heaters? Really neat that that battery can be used at low temperature. You know, basically it applies the charging input voltage and power to the heaters, and then once it's heated up, it actually charges like normal. So negative 20 degrees Celsius, that can be used down to. Pretty cool. Anybody else gonna throw in a chat? It's kind of quiet tonight. Obviously, on a random live stream, I didn't expect a lot of people to join in here, but I'd love to hear you guys chatting some more. What power station you guys looking at? What do you already have? What's your solar setup? You guys like glass rigid panels? Do you like the portable setup? I'd love to to hear that. Battleborn has heaters? I did not know that. I know Jeff, my father-in-law, he has their 100 amp hour battery. That one does not have heaters in it, but maybe they have a new model I don't know about. All these batteries have battery management systems that will keep them from charging at low temperature. But yeah, if Battleborn has a new model, that'd be awesome. Let me look that up. I didn't know. There's a heated battery. Sweet. That's awesome. I wonder what the cost is on this thing. Now available. There's no price. Let me see if I can bring this screen up. I'm going to close this. One second here. I'll bring this up on my second screen. Just got to get out of that tab there. Okay, cool. Let's bring it over. Okay, so heated battery now available November 12th, 2020. Wow, this is old news. I didn't know. Thanks for the heads up. Okay, so I'm running 5 80-watt panels wired in series for 120 volts DC, but my batteries took a dump on me. What batteries? Lead acid, or what were you using? Let's see. Jose, I think that Will Prowse showed one that had a heater from Battleborn at one time. Yeah, it looks like they had it from 2020. Pretty cool. Didn't know that. Thanks for the heads up, Kevin. I would buy that battery, but I prefer to buy through Amazon with free shipping. Yep. And you get the, with Amazon, you do get pretty good customer service and return, you know, thinking of the word here, return policies. 300 amp hour AGM batteries. Yeah, that's, so each one of those had around 50 amp hours of usable capacity. So yeah, that's 150 amp hours. That's a lot. 150 amp hours is, you know, you can use a lot with that. What do you use it for? I'm curious what your setup is. Do you have like an off-grid cabin, or just an off-grid house, or you just kind of a home backup? Because that's pretty good, decent amount of power with your, you said 5 80-watt panels. So yeah, that's pretty decent. Sorry guys, my voice, man. I lost my voice earlier this week. Got to keep it fresh. So pretty cool there. Let me go back to that left screen here. See what sizes they offer here. Apologize for my voice. Yeah, so my wife is out with some friends and all the kids are sleeping. So I was like, usually we watch a movie or something, watch a show, hang out at night on Friday nights, but she had some plans. So I thought it'd be fun to just jump online. So thanks for joining, guys. I've had some good questions so far. Okay, so James says he lives full-time in a 1967 GM THD city transit bus. That is awesome. So that's like a bigger than van conversion. That's sweet. So I'm guessing you have all those panels mounted on your roof. So AGM, man, yeah, you could probably jump up. So like I said, you had 100 amp hours or 150 amp hours of usable capacity with 300 amp hours of batteries. So if you went over to lithium, you could buy a 100 amp hour battery and almost have the same amount of capacity as you had before. So pretty awesome there. Do you deal with cold temperatures much? I mean, I wonder if you could get away with one of the cheaper Amazon batteries that doesn't have a built-in BMS, like a low temperature charging protection. Okay, had to cut my audio there for a second. Awesome. Okay, well let's jump around here. We'll bring up this panel here. Okay, so no ground mount. Yeah, so yeah, ground mount's awesome. I have some ground mount in my backyard. I've really enjoyed it. But yeah, lots of cold. Then yeah, you'd probably want to look for at least a somewhat of a heated battery. I'm guessing the cost of the Battleborn heated is pretty high, but you do get a 10-year warranty on that battery. So that's definitely good. Now the Reliabat today had a 5-year warranty and it cost $600. So I'm not sure what, the difference in cost between those two, but I was pretty happy with not pretty happy. I was really happy with the performance of the Reliabat. I mean, I had that at negative 19 degrees C, and it heated up within an hour, or a little bit over, about an hour, and then started charging. And that was at dead voltage. I discharged it completely and then threw it in the fridge. So pretty impressive. Okay, well, let's so I'll give you an update about the Energizer. I know a lot of people were interested about the new Energizer I've been testing, the one I've been running my office off. Apparently, they've been just pushing the launch date back. Everyone's dealing with supply issues now, so not quite ready to launch. So I still had to push that. I had to push that video back. I'm the guy on Ask Ive asking for help. Like what type of help are you looking for? What do you mean? Okay, update on the Alcatel P2001. Yeah, so they have 8 power stations out of the 200 plus that they shipped out. Only 8 people have reported the problem, and they are giving a full refund or replacement option to those people, and they do not have to pay return shipping. You do have to reach out to their email that I posted earlier in the chat. Check out. It's going to be in the chat. It's cc at alcatel.cc. That's their customer support email. And I was very happy with the response. I basically emailed them right after I made that short. I said, this is what needs to happen or you guys are going to lose my support. And they actually came back and said that their emails to Kickstarter were being ignored, and their calls to Kickstarter were being ignored. I don't know, maybe Kickstarter was super busy, but they could not post an update on how to return the power station effectively on Kickstarter. So they actually called me, guys. I got a call from, Chris, I think. It's Christian or Chris, from Alcatel in China. So I got a call from China. This is the second time they called me. Been very, very happy with their support. Of course, I don't like the auto shut-off settings that their power stations have, but other than that, they're very decent. And they reassured me none of their future power stations are going to have this auto DC shut-off feature or auto AC shut-off feature. I told them, get rid of that stupid auto shut-off. No one wants it. So they finally agreed to that. So their future power stations will not have that. So I guess that's the benefit of having me test their power stations and throw it out and say that that feature sucks, because now they're like, we'll remove it. Okay, so Les, is that a good enough update for the Alcatel? Let me know. Anything else you want to know, let me know and I can provide more information. CH, question, are the concern about lithium-ion battery fires the same for power stations with e-bikes, as e-bikes? Been seeing a lot of news on e-bike scooter fires lately. Okay, so e-bike batteries usually don't have, especially cheap Chinese e-bike batteries. They're really cheap packs. They probably don't have the built-in protections that they need. So lithium ion does have a fire risk. If you overcharge it, over discharge it, or short circuit it, that's when you'll have problems with lithium ions, or you puncture it. You do not have a fire risk with lithium iron phosphate. The problem is lithium iron phosphate's heavier, it's less energy dense, so putting it on an e-bike just doesn't make sense. So a lot of the e-bikes use these lighter weight, more energy dense cells, which are lithium ion, and there is a slight fire risk, but if they are charging properly, if their cutoff voltage and their charging voltage is set properly, you won't. And if they don't ever short circuit. Problem is cheap Chinese stuff, like cheap stuff, like stuff you see on eBay, you're going to have some quality issues there, and maybe not all of them will, but one of them is going to short circuit and you're going to have a house fire or a garage fire, or the thing's going to light on fire when you're going down the road. So yeah, there is a risk for lithium ion batteries. Now with power stations, I don't think it's quite as bad. Power stations usually have to go through some sort of safety protocols. I'd love to see UL listed stuff. You don't see that on every single power station though. Oh, say, yep. You're talking about the Relibat? Yeah, it was a good battery. It was cool. Excuse me, guys. Sorry, gotta clear my throat here. Okay, any batteries or power stations? I'm very poor and can't work. Cheap ones? Yeah, the cheapest battery that's available are like the Zooms lithium iron phosphates off Amazon. They're like $300 for 1,280 watt hours. Very, very decent price. You have so you have the Chins, the Zooms, the Ampere Times. Those are all kind of in the same category. And then you got man, they're coming out with a ton of them, guys. You look on Amazon and there are a ton available. The only problem is a lot of the cheaper batteries on Amazon, the lithium iron phosphate 100 amp hour, 200 amp hour batteries, they don't have low temperature charging protection. So just make sure that the battery is above 30 degrees when you charge it up. So there's many ways to do that. You can have a solar charge controller that stops charging below 30. You can have a thermometer on there and you're just watching it. When it goes above 30, you can charge it. That type of thing. Hurricane Prepper. What is the best way to charge a 4 battery, 12 volt, 100 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery? Okay, so just a 4S battery. So like my build battery, the one I built, the 100 amp hour one that I built. I'll be honest with you. Sometimes I just use a car charger, like a 12 volt battery charger. A lot of times the BMS is just going to protect the battery inside. I'm not worried about it. I don't let it sit and trickle on it. I'll unplug it after it's full. You can get dedicated lithium iron phosphate chargers or lithium chargers, and they have, as long as they have a set voltage of 14.4 or 14.6, they should be fine. And one of the best ways that I like to charge is by using an adjustable power supply. So it's called a CCCV, adjustable power supply. So constant current, constant voltage charging behavior. You can go back to basically any of my videos and see that. I think it's called the Leaf, something Leaf, Mini Leaf, Min Leaf. They're on AliExpress for cheap. They're on Amazon for a little bit more money. You basically set the voltage to 14.6 and then set the amperage, and it does the rest. Really nice. So yeah. Oh, you're talking about, let's see, for 48 volt system. Okay, yeah, they have charge controllers for solar that are designed for 48 volt systems, and they have charge controllers that are just, plug in the wall or DC to DC. 48 volt systems are becoming more popular. So yes, there's definitely a lack of 48 volt stuff right now. I have not built a 48 volt system, so I can't help you exactly on what products there are available. Jose, have you ever found a solar station where you could add batteries so it could last longer? Ha! Okay, so I had this video. You guys, there was a conversation thread on my video today about the Reliabat. And I want to do a video about this, about just the cheapest way to add additional battery capacity to your power station. So I'll give you a little hint. You're basically taking a standalone lithium iron phosphate battery, like a Zoom's ampere time, whatever, and you're basically just dumping power from that into a power station. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And yes, it does work. So I'll have to show you that in a future video. It shouldn't be a very complicated video at all. So yeah, looking forward to it. Yeah, no problem. I kind of prefer the lithium iron phosphate power stations because they're sitting in my house all the time and I'm using them. So I kind of have this little thing in the back of my mind saying I don't want a house fire from a NMC lithium power station. So EcoFlow, it's going to be a good brand. I wouldn't have any issues with EcoFlow sitting there, I don't think that would ever catch on fire, but there's some cheaper power stations out there that yeah, there could be some quality control, could cause some power, fire issues. Hey, good to see you, AM. Yeah, live streaming is great. I'm going to try to find some more time like this just to throw in random live streams. It's just a fun way to get to know you guys and answer your guys' questions. I get a lot of emails, and it's hard to just express kind of how it works and stuff in words on an email. So I'd love to explain that stuff here. So if you guys have any questions, throw something down below. I'd love to get your questions. I still have it in the box, pulled my back getting it from the front yard. Oh, wow. What power station is that? That's got to be a big one. You didn't say which one it was, so you'll have to let me know. Got to be a big one. Yeah, you let me know what power station it is if you hurt your back. Derek, any release date on the Energizer? Okay. So I mentioned this a little bit earlier in the stream. Their Kickstarter, they're still working on their Kickstarter page. That's what they've told me. I'll tell you, I've tested it. I've done all the testing. I still have to do my video. I filmed portions of the video, a lot of it, but everything's tested out really good. The AC inverter's good. DC output's good. Charging at 900 watts. Very good power station. I was not too impressed with their price, though. I told them their price was not very competitive, especially for a Kickstarter. So we'll see what they come out with. I can't say the price because I won't disclose that until, but I really hope that they take my advice and adjust the price just a little bit. I will tell you that you could find a few more affordable options that are already on the market. And I've noticed that with Energizer. The Energizer 320 is a little bit expensive. It's almost $1 per watt. So a little bit expensive. Hey, thank you, Hurricane Prepper. Really appreciate it. Thanks for donating. That's awesome. Brian Martin, looking at the AC200P and the Leoch. I don't know how you pronounce that. What are your opinions on these? I do not know about the Leoch. I'll tell you that I absolutely love the AC200P. If I was going to buy it with my own money, I would not regret it at all. Of course, it was sent out in exchange for a review. So that's a little bit different from coming from my mouth because I didn't spend, the price on it is very decent, and I have a good discount code now. I think you can pick it up for $14.99 on Blue Eddy's website, brand new, and they come out with refurbished ones. Ask I've picked up one. He just got done with a live stream just a few minutes ago, He picked one up for under $700, a AC 200p, which I think is an excellent price for that power station. I have been using the AC 200p to power my full-size fridge for about a month now, and it works great. So 700 watts of solar, 2,000 watt inverter, 25 amp DC output. The only thing that would make this thing better is 100 watt bidirectional USB-C, but that's what their new models have. So no issues there. The Leoch. Let's look it up. I don't know what that one is. Leoch power station. Let's pull it up. Okay, what is this? 2,000 watt AC, 2048 capacity, 13 outputs. Okay, so pretty decent stuff here. Charges a Tesla. 18 watt. That's quick charge, yeah. 45 watt. Okay, a little low on the. Excuse me, guys. Excuse me. Apologize. A little low on the USB Type C. I mean, it has it. It's nice. Car charging, 96 watts. So that's pretty standard. 400 watts AC charging without an adapter. So a benefit to have no adapter, guys. But these are really low numbers. 300 watt solar charging. I wouldn't call that fast. What is that rate? So 2,000. So, well, let's just do the math here. I don't want to do math. Let's see. That is a 15% charge rate, 0.15 C, super slow. I'd love to see a little bit faster there. I'd love to see a little bit faster here. AC 200p charges at 1,400 watts max, and it'll charge 700 watts solar and 500 watts for the AC adapter. Now, the AC adapter is a brick, but the AC 300 doesn't come with the brick anymore, so if you want to upgrade to that, it shows them running a 12-volt fridge. That's great. Power anything, connect anywhere. Dispels worries, power off. Look at these back connections here. I wonder if that's a high discharge DC output. That'd be kind of cool. It's got wheels. That's cool. Cool. Let's see what we're getting here. Go back to the webcam. Okay, Alcatel. It was heavy. Yep. The Alcatel is big. Any issues with it? Excuse me. Like I said, there were eight power stations before that have reported issues, and Alcatel is working with all those people. Very fast response, guys. Within a week, they were already refunding or replacing whatever the viewers wanted to do. So good news there. Thanks for sharing your experience and ideas with us. I got to go. Can we chat via email? Yeah. Feel free to send me an email. Always happy to answer your emails. jasonoidllc@gmail.com. Question, could you list examples of common household that are generally okay for modified sine waves device? Example of things that are definitely not okay. Motors, compressors do not like modified sine waves, so you definitely want to stay away from those. Sensitive electronics also do not like modified sine waves. Lights are okay. Just to keep it safe and not damaging anything, I always recommend going with a pure sine wave inverter. So, you spend a little bit of money for it. I've been very happy with the inverter that I chose to go with. It was the Xantrix Pro Watt SW. The price on this, guys, is decent. I was very surprised. Let me bring this up really quick. Okay, so they're probably not gonna have a price on this on their website. Okay, so Xantrix is one of the best names in inverter. Guys, from what I understand, they are an American company. I don't know if they make their products in America. Maybe they used to. But the ProWatt S2000, this one here, this is what I have, and it's what I use on my videos. Amazing inverter. Puts out 120 watts, 60 hertz, 2,000 watts of power. I picked that up off Amazon for around $370. And I'll tell you, the cheap crap Chinese 2,000 watt inverters were like $350. So you're paying just a teeny bit more for a high brand name lifetime warranty product. So if you're looking for an inverter that has pure sine wave output that has similar to one of these larger power stations, definitely would recommend this Xantrix ProWatt. Anyway, just had to plug that in there. Anyone have the PV350 panel from Blue Eddy? How is it? Yeah, guys, let them know if you guys have it. I do have 2 of the SP350s. So Blue Eddy sent out SP350s. I would have loved it they were PV350s, but I'm excited to test them out anyway. I'll put them out in a video soon. But yeah, 350 watt panels. They're big and they're heavy. They're not nearly as heavy as what a glass rigid panel would be, but I was pretty impressed by the size and weight of these. But yeah, almost, you know, I'm looking forward to see if they'll put out 700 watts of power. Mr. Repo, good to see you. Thanks for joining. Let's see here. The watt hours. Yeah, the watt hours being 2048. Yeah, that's decent. It didn't show if it had lithium iron phosphate. I'm guessing it is lithium iron phosphate. Correct me if I'm wrong. But what is it? Lithium NMC or lithium iron phosphate in that power station? Also, did you guys catch a price on that? I didn't think I caught a price on that. Well, let's click buy on Amazon and see what it is. Okay, I'll bring it back. It does look like it is. Okay, so $16.99. So a little bit more expensive than the Blue Eddy AC200P. And it 72 pounds, which is pretty normal. It does put out 110 volts, guys, so you do get a little bit better voltage out of the AC200P, okay? So this does not put out the voltage of your wall outlet in the United States. This puts out 10 volts less. And it is, I thought I saw, yeah, lithium iron phosphate. Cool. So it is lithium iron phosphate. So I'm sure this would be a pretty decent power station. If you could get it for a really good price, like maybe cheaper than this, because the Blue Eddy AC200P is this, it's cheaper than this now, especially with my $100 off. If you guys haven't seen my website, jasonoid.com, discount code page. I just updated all this here. I have these permanent discount codes for Blue Eddy products. Finally, been asking them for months. Okay, so yeah, it's $50 off. So $100 off the AC300 and 200P, 200 Max, $50 each. So that's off a sale price, by the way. This will take off, if they are already on sale, this will take off an additional $50. So pretty awesome. I just got a brand new ice cold fridge, and I also just got a brand new set power fridge. So excited to show you guys those too. All right, let's keep moving down here. Fantic Power Station. I haven't looked at that. I did see a review from Silver Symbol. I think the price per watt hour was ridiculous on that. Maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think that was the only downside, is the price per watt hour was above $1 or something like that per watt hour. Stan, audio is excellent. Thank you. Follow-up question, CH. Yeah, glad to answer your questions here. Could you comment on what devices are suitable for X-Boost function offered by EcoFlow? So I don't know how low the voltage drops. So if you'll notice, how it works is any power station that puts out anything less than 120 volts. So a lot of these power stations that I review have 110 volt inverters, they're kind of using X boost, because remember it's volts times amps equals watts. So if a device pulls 1,000 watts at 120 volts, when it's 110 volts, it'll pull about 10% less power. So you can actually get away with less wattage. Heaters, a lot. You can look on the back of the device and it'll show you what the input voltage range is. If it says strict 120, don't use X boost. If it says 100 to 120 volts input, then you're probably fine to use X boost. You just kind of want to keep an eye out for it and see what the device says, maybe in the owner's manual, something like that. So yeah, make sure you watch out for that. Caleb, have you heard of the Ace Volt 700 lithium iron phosphate power station? Be sure to click on the second landing page for the best results. Excuse me. I have not heard of that one. Ace Volt. I'll tell you, man, there's like a billion of these things coming out. I'm just looking it up. Ace Volt 700. Okay, Cam Power 700. Interesting. It's like it's got like a built-in handle, leany screen thing. I'll swap it over. Here it is. It's definitely unique, so it's not a copycat version of some other brand. 2,500 life cycles sounds about right. 762 watt hours. Second landing page. How do I get to the second landing page? Probably here and then here. Maybe this page. Shipping information. Anyway, yeah, the price seems okay. $569. That's kind of right around the EB70. It's not too far off of the EB70 at all. So yeah. Okay, let's see. Jump back. Yep, Jose, thanks for clarifying that. I'll find that out when I looked on the website finally. I still have in the box. Very glad I saw this live stream. Got a bit late. Issue. What was the issue? Okay, so some people had an issue with the inverter shutting off at 30 minutes while it was running. Like it was just like some weird bug. So plug in your Alcatel, charge it all the way up. Follow basically what I said on that the video I recently posted, the 7 steps when you got your new power station. Basically, you want to test the AC inverter extensively. Make sure it doesn't auto shut off. There's been a small percentage of their power stations from the Kickstarter. I don't think any from Amazon have the issue. So let me know if you got yours from Kickstarter or on Amazon. Blue Eddy is better. I would agree on the price, the higher quality, bigger brand name, higher support. Yeah. Versus the Leoch. I kind of agree with that, but hey, if you can pick up the other one for a great price. Jack, just a big thanks for your reviews and information. You're serving so many communities, ham operators, overlanders, campers, RVers, hobbyists. Excuse me. Yeah, I am a camper and a hobbyist, I guess. I don't do really much overlanding. I do have a 4Runner that's kind of got a leveling kit and some off-road tires and got some power stuff going on there, but I have young kids, so I don't really overland. Ham operators. So I'm interested in, I want to know, I've seen Hobotech throw in some basic tests to test for frequency, interference, and things like that. Throw down below, guys, what is the best way that I can simply test a power station for ham radio interference or extra noise? Hobotech tests his AC inverter on his power stations using a guitar amp, like a small guitar amp. Let me know if that's a good test or not. I would love to add that to my power station testing for you guys that run ham radio stuff. From my understanding, it's just best to run right off a direct lithium iron phosphate battery. But maybe if a power station had a clear enough output, it would be beneficial to ham radio operators. Just let me know what you guys think. Org Wizard 2000, cool name. Love your reviews. Just recently started watching your videos while researching portable fridges and battery units. Yes, portable fridges, man. I love them. They're awesome. I found out about my first portable fridge in 2018, and I've never gone back. I was an ice guy and running to gas stations or, super far away to get ice during camping trips. Guys, if you guys do not have a portable fridge, it is amazing. You don't have to get ice anymore. And you run it off power station with solar panel, it's amazing. Or you can run it off a direct battery. Super awesome. Great brands to start with, Set Power, Iceco. If you want to spend more money, you can go up to Dometic, Engel, ARB. But Iceco is kind of a slightly cheaper version with C-Cop compressors, and Set Power is a budget option that I really have fallen in love with. They make great, excellent products. You also have a ton of other options on Amazon, but I've heard horror stories about returning issues and stuff like that. So if you want a company that actually has support, Set Power, Iceco, Dometic, Engel, ARB, those all will get you taken care of if you have issues with your product. Have you bought any power stations from AliExpress? I feel there are so many knockoffs of the same power station. Yes, there are quite a few. Well, no to your question. I've not bought any off AliExpress, but there are a ton of knockoffs, and that's kind of you kind of look at AliExpress as maybe like the leftovers, or maybe they're grade B. Maybe they had some issues. They didn't pass quality inspections, so they tossed them out to AliExpress. So you never know. I always question that stuff. Jason, do you have any experience with Renogy products? What did you think of them? I had one experience with a Renogy 50-watt solar panel, glass rigid panel. This is Jeff, actually, my father-in-law. The panel came damaged, and he found that out after he made a modification to one of the cables. He removed the MC4 adapter and put on Anderson power pole, and Renogy would not return the product. And so we were stuck with the 50-watt panel that was broken. So kind of bugged by that. I didn't think they stood behind their product. They just went in circles and circles. I mean, yeah, it was a 50-watt solar panel, but still, just kind of bugged that they didn't return the panel, or it basically put out 5 watts. That 50-watt panel put out 5 watts from factory, but they thought that us removing the MC4 connections was broke the panel, which obviously has nothing to do with the output of the panel. So anyway, that's my experience with Renogy. I don't have crazy positive experience. I don't have crazy negative experience. I hear some of their panels are great. Their price is sometimes a little bit higher. HQST, Rich Solar, Bouge RV. Those are some other solar panels on Amazon that you can get for a really good price. You gotta remember that you have, I have the 15% off Bouge RV solar panels on my website. So anytime you want to save 15% on a Bouge RV solar panel, you can pick that up. Org Wizard 2000, have you considered or think it would be worth it in your fridge reviews to test how long each one can maintain set temp after loss of power? I've thought about that. I already have like 100 hours in each of these fridge reviews of testing, like a ton of time. Especially if it's a hybrid fridge, like the Set Power fridge behind me. This one. This is the RV60 Dual. So you take out the divider and it's a single fridge, and then you put the divider in and it's in a fridge and freezer. So I had to do 4 power consumption tests on this fridge. Each one was for over 24 hours. So I think it would be beneficial. Maybe I'll just do a separate video on just that. I've thought about that. So I'm guessing they'll be able to hold their power for an hour or two until it gets out of that safe level for food. Yeah, definitely do some testing on it. Reach out to cc@aucatel.cc. That's the email. If you have any issues, they will be happy to help you. Hey, Beverly, good to see you. Thanks for joining the live stream. Do you have much experience with the longevity of flexible panels used occasionally? No issues at all. Those SunPower Flex 50s that I have, they're flexible panels. I use them during camping. They don't get used quite as much now because I have so many panels to choose from. In fact, it's so hard to choose which panel I want to take with me when I go camping. Those panels should be fine. The only problem I think you're going to get with flexible panels is if you mount it on the top of a van and it's in the sun all the time, those things are going to degrade. It's not going to be quite as bad as PET panels. They'll last a little bit longer, but you know, you can see the pictures all online. There's a ton of pictures of like flexible panels that get broken down pretty easy because it's plastic. It's clear plastic, and you know plastic's going to fade, it's going to yellow, it's going to turn nasty in UV light. The best option for a permanent setup is always glass rigid panels. Two. Need to clarify that. Derek. Okay, so you got yours from Amazon and it has the AC issues. Okay. Your name sounds super familiar. I think I emailed you about this, right? They should be taking care of you. Did you email the cc@aucatel.cc? Hey, Gregory. I know you wanted to probably get an update on the Energizer. They pushed it back. Sorry to let you down. The price is a little high, too. We'll see what you think. For the Energizer, PPS 2000W is what they're going to call it, I think. Org Wizard got the VL45. So this is the standard VL, not the VL Pro. I kind of prefer the standard VL anyway, but sweet. Did you power it up yet, or did you let it sit a little bit? Because sometimes you want it to sit before turning on the compressor. Oh, man, I love the VL45. Such a good fridge. Getting a set power, your discount code makes it 368. That's the set power RV45, right? That is an excellent fridge as well. I did the, remember if I did, you guys remember I did a video where I compared, let's see if I can pull it up. Yeah, it's going to take too long. Anyway, I compared the VL45 to the set power RV45. They're almost identical. Just a different compressor inside. Pricing, a little bit different build quality. And yeah. Good to know about the AliExpress. Yeah, you know, that's what I think it is. I think there might be grade B stuff. Hey guys, Ask Guy Solar. If you guys haven't seen his channel, check it out. He does awesome solar content. And it's solar content for everyday people. He uses power stations all day, every day to power a ton of things around the house. So if you guys are looking for power stations, another great resource is Ask Guy Solar. And show his channel some love. You guys, did you guys thumbs up the video? Come on, let's get some thumbs up on this video. We got 14 likes. I want to see a few more on there. Throw a thumbs up in. Can't wait to buy an IceCo 40-liter using your discount code. Yeah, 12% off. I'm trying to get a higher one. I don't think they'll ever give me a higher one. I would like to own the market for the best discount code for IceCo. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, which 40-liter? I'm guessing you're talking about the JP40. They also have the JP42, which is the rotomolded design. Looks like a Yeti cooler, but it's a fridge. It's awesome. Gotta grab this food. BRB. Yeah, what you eating? I live in Las Vegas and often head out to Death Valley in the Mojave. What are the impacts of very high temperatures on power station lifespan? You ever go out to Cerro Gordo? I follow Ghost Town Living, and I love that channel. Man, I'd go visit Cerro Gordo. Let me know if you've ever been there or if you've heard of it. That would be awesome if you check that place out. But yes, operating temperatures, yes, it's bad. I think some power stations will cut off at a little bit above 110 degrees. So you got to keep the car cool in the shade. Yeah, important. So yeah, lithium iron phosphate doesn't have very good sensitivity, or it's very sensitive to high heat. I don't know the exact damage it would do over, excuse me guys, I should not drink a soda, I guess, while doing a live stream. Bad idea. High temperatures, yeah, I think it would affect LifeCell. Remember, okay, so let me bring this back. So Ask Ive was talking about, on one of his previous live streams, about why is it beneficial to take your power station from, or to keep it within the 80-20% rule? So charge it up to 80%, discharge it to 20% and keep it within there. So you don't use the very top, you don't use the very bottom. And the reason that's beneficial to get more life cycles out of the battery is because you're not adding stress to the battery and you're not adding heat. When you charge a lithium iron phosphate up at the very end of the charge cycle, it's a lot harder to get energy in there versus during the middle. And so it just adds extra stress and extra heat. I mean, they don't get hot, but it's just extra stress on the battery. So I'm guessing that heat would also be an issue for this. A lot of power stations have built-in temperature settings though, so they'll shut off if you're going to damage it. You can get a cheap SDR on Amazon that plugs into your computer that will pick up RF noise from a power supply. Also a cheap Bofang with directional antenna will do. Okay, I know the Bofang, the $25 one. Kevin, would you mind sending me an email about this SDR stuff? Just send me what you would recommend. I would totally love to do maybe just one video on what power station works best for ham operators. But yeah, I'd love to add that content. I know some of you guys are into that. So Kevin, send me an email with just a few recommendations with links. I am not a ham radio person, and I don't know that information. Rhea from Rhea's Radio Shack. Excellent content, guys, if you're looking at ham radio stuff and power stations, things like that. Katie and NH, if one uses the Y connector provided with the X-Star panel, is that a parallel or series connection? Great question. It is a parallel connection, so it will work on all power stations that accept 12 to 30 volts. Have you heard of a company called Solar Window? Is it, you mean like a solar panel in the windows? I think I've seen some products at CES and stuff for that, but I'm not sure. Standard, let it sit for a day and only powered it up once to test it so far. Sweet. The VL series, the standard is a beast. I absolutely love those. Let's see. I have, sorry guys, sorry. So I have the VL74 there on the bottom. Excellent, excellent, excellent fridge. Super efficient. The walls are like super thick. C-Cop compressor. You just can't beat the VL standard. Love it. Mr. Repo, Ivan's a cool dude. Yep, check out his channel. We got to get his subscribers up, guys, because companies don't send out power stations until you hit the 5,000 plus limit, and I think he could go really far if we got him some power stations, and so we got to get his subscribers up. He's grown. He's grown like 500 subscribers pretty recently. Last fall, I did a 70-day trip with my 12-volt fridge, stayed below 40 degrees all night, turned off. Yes. Where I go camping in the summer, it's high elevation, 10,000 feet, sometimes 8,000 feet up in the mountains. At night, these fridges just don't run sometimes. It's awesome. Really preserves battery power. However, in the complete opposite, if you're camping in high temperatures, be prepared. Your battery will run down very quickly. What are your thoughts on the Titan solar generator? I haven't looked into the Titan. I don't know why they don't have many reviews. Some companies just maybe are afraid that the reviews will be too honest. I don't know. But did you guys see Hobotech's April Fool's parody video today about Patriot Solar or whatever, Patriot, for Patriots? Oh man, that was such a good video. You guys should definitely check it out. Let me pull it up. I won't play it or anything, but man, this thing was great. He actually loved my comment. I don't know if he knows who I am. I did give him some tips and guidance through email, which he never responded, but his channel gets attacked by spammers. And so I have a really cool spam tool that I use that automatically deletes all the spam content the instant you run it. So every time I give a giveaway, I'll run that like every 30 minutes. And I can set it up with a batch file to run every 10 minutes. So I sent that over to him, and maybe he thought it was cool. So let's see here. This video. This Patriot Power Generator 1800. Look at his thumbnail, guys. This thumbnail is legit. It's got unicorns and rainbows and yeah, anyway. He just makes fun of it because this power station, $2,500, but man, it is not worth $2,500. So do not buy that power station if you're looking at it. Please, please don't buy that power station. Way better options out there. Thanks. Question. If one uses the Y connector provided with the X-Star... Yeah, I thought I already answered this. Did you not get it earlier? Yeah, so it's parallel connection. 2 panels with the Y adapter is a parallel connection. You can use that on the EB55, the EB70. Most power stations that are in the small bracket, 700 watt hours and less, you can use 2 X-Stars connected together in parallel. Captain Kurd, welcome to the live stream. What are your thoughts on Indiegogo crowdfunding for power stations? My LE Hive is a 1.5 years late. Okay. I will put a warning out about Kickstarter and Indiegogo stuff. So I just want my viewers to know there's always a risk. Usually you're getting, excuse me guys. Usually you're getting the power station for a good deal. Look back at the Alcatel, okay? You pick that up for $1,000. That's like 50% off. So is it worth a little bit of bugs, a not perfect product, if you're getting it for $1,000? Now on power stations that don't ever get sent out, yeah, that's a scam. So if you could, I think you mentioned in a previous comment that you canceled it, right? Sorry about that, dude. That's horrible. Is your name Kurt, by the way? I'd love to know if your name was Kurt. Maybe I asked you that before. That one that looks like the Foot Locker with latches. VL45. Foot Locker, that's awesome. Yeah, there's two VL45s. You have the VL45 that's the Pro, and then you have the standard VL45 that's kind of a grayish green. Both are excellent, but I like the sturdiness and the more durability of the metal design on the VL45 standard, plus it's cheaper. Oh yeah, it does suck. Sweet, Jose, thank you for thumbs up the video. I really appreciate it, guys. Okay. Oops. Okay, Reggie. Have you done anything with Humless? They are a Utah-based company that do large power banks. No, I haven't. Probably I'm just a little bit too small for them to know I exist. Looks more like kind of a, let's pull this up here. So they have lights, they have solar kits, and they have a 6.5, which I'm guessing 6.5 features 3 kilowatt inverter, 3,000 watts, clean energy, so 6.5 kilowatt hours. That's decent, guys. That's big. Yeah, maybe I'll have to reach out to them. 0.64 kilowatt system plug and play connecting cables. So they do have, it looks like they offer some rigid folding panels, which is kind of cool. That I don't know if these are glass or not. They look like they might be a broken website. Fix your website, y'all. Let's see about media, about USA-based solar company. 2008. The Go series looks like a portable option, another portable option, and the big boys home backup. It looks huge. Yeah, I'll have to reach out to him. I'll have to reach out for sure. why my chat's not showing up here, guys. Let me see if I... Okay, it looks like it's just not updating yet. Okay, I'm going to have to go back to the... I'm going to have to jump into the regular chat here. It looks like my app's not working here. So, Katie in NH, would you pick the JP40 or the JP42? Okay, those are both good questions. I don't like the weird divider wall on the JP42. Or sorry, the JP40. It depends if you're looking for that or not. I like the chest style fridges that don't have a divider. So the JP42, the roto-molded design, is good that way. Have you seen my comparison video? I would definitely recommend that. I compared all the IceCos. All the IceCos, okay? So, let me pull this up really quick. It better be on the top. Okay, cool. Let's see. Okay, so obviously the first video I did with Jeff, really popular video. This next one down, the 8 IceCo fridges head-to-head. Check out this video if you have not seen this. I compare all the IceCos that I have. You can see every single one, power usage, everything you'd want to know about an IceCo fridge is going to be in that video. So check out that huge lineup IceCo video. Yes. I don't know why this is not updating. It's super annoying. I can't get that to pop up. Anyway, okay, we're going back here. How's the new build going? And do you really think you could fit it all the stuff into the MCM ammo can? Chuck is asking that. I'm currently testing the battery, doing capacity testing on it, make sure it gets 50 amp hours. I've done a basic fit, and I think I can fit it all in. I do have to take the AC inverter out of its protective case and kind of, so it's in this case. If the two ends come out and then the whole board slides out, and then 2 ends I'm going to fold up. So they're going to be in there. I think I can fit it all in. It's going to be a little tight, but I think I can fit it in. Captain Kirk, Hobotech knows you. We talked about you in January at Scaldon Wash, Arizona. Hey, you know Hobotech. You went to the camper thing. What did he say? I'm curious. What did he say about my channel? I've called him out a few times though, so I don't know if he likes me. 159 for those 2 glass panels on Amazon is a good deal. The review seemed good. Thanks, New Power. So this is AM. Yeah, New Power makes good panels. The only thing I've noticed about New Power panels is they have a little bit less voltage and a higher amperage. So if you're running with if you're trying to charge a power station with an amperage input limit, EB55, EB70, actually all of them, you're gonna hit that amp input limit a little bit lower, or you're gonna get a little less wattage because the amps are higher and the voltage is lower. So you always want a little higher little bit higher wattage when you're looking for. Okay, sorry guys. You want a little bit higher voltage on your solar panel so you can get more wattage into your panel, because remember it's watts. It's watts equals volts times amps. So if your amperage limit is stuck on some of these power stations, you're stuck at an input limit. The only way to increase power is by increasing wattage, increase voltage. So you want to increase your voltage, so you try to find a glass rigid panel with the highest voltage within tolerances. So rich solar seems to be panels that put out a little bit higher voltage. Bouge RV put out a little bit higher voltage. There's a couple Renogy panels that are extremely high priced, but they put out like 24 volts. So that's almost the highest voltage that I've seen from some glass rigid panels. CH, thank you so much for your $10 donation. I wish I could pop that up on the screen here. Thank you so much. I'm gonna try restarting this chat thing. So let's see if I can get this to restart. Okay. Okay, yeah, I think we got it here. Okay, cool. Thank you, CH. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for donating. I love to do this stuff. It's fun, but I will tell you it does incentivize it a little bit more when I'm able to get a little bit of kickback, because trust me, it's a lot of hours, guys. I spend a lot of hours doing this YouTube stuff. So any money is Very, very much accepted. Thank you so much. Kurt, Captain Kurt. Yeah, I'll remember that. So yeah, tell me about your experience with Hobotech. I'd love to hear what he thinks. And I don't care if it's negative or positive. You got to tell me. Okay. Did you see EcoFlow-worthy 1200 watt-hour deal on Amazon? EcoWorthy 1200 watt-hour deal. So they have a power station? 1200 watt-hour power station? Really? Interesting. That would be crazy if it was 1200 watt-hours for $399. EcoWorthy does make solar panels, though. So maybe you're talking about, hour deal? Maybe it was a 1 hour deal? Let's look. I didn't see it, so I didn't see the deal. I'll just say that. A company is developing new kind of solar cells. That is clear. Cool, I've seen this. It's hard to explain, but you can look it up online on YouTube. Just wondering what you think of it. Yeah, dude, any new solar stuff off silicone-based technology would be great. Silicone is heavy, and we're kind of hitting efficiency limits here. 22%, 23%. Imagine if we could get 100% efficiency on a solar panel. You know what that would do to the solar market or charging cars? You could almost fit a solar array on the top of a car. If it was 100% efficient, that would actually charge the solar car. That would be legit. So it'd be really cool to see some new tech coming out. I'm trying to decide between a flexible panel and a folding panel for camping. I may add magnets to a flexible panel to put on the SUV. I would always recommend ETFE, unless it's temporary. A flexible panel will work just fine in a temporary setup. Like you said, you're just going to use it for camping. But I still feel an ETFE panel will last a little bit longer. I feel that that's more durable. But the fabric, it's nice that the flexible panels don't have any fabric on them. That would be the only thing that's going to break down on a portable panel in the sun is the the actual background fabric stuff. 1200 watt EcoFlow for 300. I'd buy that. Yeah, that's a great price. EcoWorthy was $299 earlier. Now it's $399. I did not see that deal. Will do on the IceCo. Yeah, check out that video. That'd be great. Sorry, I'm a little bit behind. Jason watched the Hobotech video. Yeah, that was awesome. I was talking to Ask Ive earlier. We Instagram every now and then, voice chat back and forth, just talk to each other. And he had a good time with that too. Appreciate that, my man. Went to grab a couple burgers. Got to run and grub with the miss. Thanks for the shout out and support. Yeah, no problem. Okay, hello, I have a question about DIY. Should I bother with fire retardant foam or fabric in the DIY batteries? Lithium iron phosphate, I wouldn't even touch anything with anti-fire. You don't need it. Lithium iron phosphate batteries don't have a fire risk. If you were going to do an 18650 build with using NMC batteries or like a 21700 build, I would highly question what you're going to do with those batteries. I would stick with lithium iron phosphate all the way. There's no reason to do a lithium NMC battery build anymore. Yes, 1200 watt hour for $399. Okay, now that so many people have mentioned this, I got to bring it up. This chat's definitely missing some stuff here. So Dave Wickert, I have an Energizer 3. Let me take this off the screen here. Oops. Thank you, Katie and NH, $10. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Always happy to answer questions. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Dave Wickett, let me get back to this. So I have an Energizer, let's see. I have an Energizer 320 and need DC always turned on, even if the load is off. Your fridge DC test was occasional load, ultimately 3 will turn off. A super low LED will keep it always on. Yeah, the Energizer, I can't remember what the actual timeout was on that. most power stations, it will be like 4 hours if there's zero load. It ran just fine in a 12-volt compressor fridge. You could put either a USB LED light or a small USB fan. The USB fan would pull 2 watts on low. That one that I have in my video, my 5 gadgets video, check that out. I have that link in the video description. That one will do it for you. Stan Mazzo, $4.99. Thank you so much for your donation. Hey, it popped up here. So thank you so much. Thank you guys. Really appreciate it. All this money is just going right back into the channel. So definitely appreciate you guys. Okay, I got a pop-up here. Complete Duckhead. Happy birthday, Jasenoid. How'd you know it was my birthday? My birthday's actually back in March, but thank you. It was a recent birthday. No one has ever done a teardown video on the Eco-Worthy to show components used inside. Yeah, 1,200 watt hours for $3.99. That is so cheap. So yeah, that you kind of have to question about that. Let me try bringing this thing up. I'm gonna try bringing it up. Eco-Worthy 1,200. Is it a power station? I know Eco-Worthy makes solar panels. Okay, ban everything. Hey, welcome to the stream. I have one of the old Rockpal styles Bowat 500 power stations that stinks horribly of burning electronics each time I charge it. It's never gotten better. Is this an issue? I kind of refer that smell to the Harbor Freight smell. It's like, oh man, go on Harbor Freight and you smell this Chinese, manufacturing smell, plastics. Yeah, it kind of smells like burning electronics, but it's not really. Power stations sometimes will get that. I have these in my office all the time, so yeah. If it's never gotten better, then it might have an issue for sure. So, but hey, if there's no heat and no smoke, should be fine. But you're the king of cheap power stations, dude. How many do you got? I'm curious. You have so many cheap power stations. Eco-Worthy for $3.99 sounds like it's just the battery. Oh, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about a 100 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery. $3.99. Not the cheapest. The Zooms battery is still the cheapest, I think. The Chins, the Zooms, ampere time are all under 400 bucks. The Zooms usually is around 317 on Amazon. Eco-Worthy for 1,200 watt hours. I mean, that sale you mentioned earlier. Now it makes sense, guys. Sorry, mind blown. $2.99. Yeah, that's a really good price for a 1,200 watt hour lithium iron phosphate. People with ducks popping out of their heads know everything. Well, almost everything. Or you just know me personally. But thanks for keeping that information private if you really do know me. Okay, finally the information from Captain Kurt I wanted. Hobotech compared your sites. Compared and contrasted yours with his site. He is a really good guy. He said you focused on features where he sort of brutalizes his items. Yeah, with the solar D generator. Yeah, I mean, I push the power stations to the max too. But yeah, he does have that solar D generator, which is great. I really like his reviews. Very good information. I love that he tries to do creative content all the time. And I love that he does these camping trips. This summer, guys, no joke, I'm bringing my camera with me, and you guys are going to come along on these camping trips and see my setup. No excuses this year. I'm just bringing my camera, and if people don't want to be on camera, they can get out of the way because I'm filming my stuff. So be excited. I am going to show my camping setup this summer. Thanks for sharing that, Captain Kurt. Appreciate it. 2+2, thank you so much for the answer. I rest assured. I wanted to make sure a DIY after watching your 420 build. After cases and everything, Amazon batteries for hookup, it was cheaper. Yes. Unfortunately, battery hookup will not sell those batteries anymore. They're not importing them. Super sad, guys. Super sad. But I'm going to have to find some other source. I mean, sure, you could use the Zoom's battery, but they're not going to fit in that same MTM ammo box. So anybody that picked up those batteries while they were still in stock, or if there's any left, I would definitely recommend picking those up because there's no more stock and they're not coming back. The battery hookup modules. But yes, just to clarify, 2+2 is asking if there's any fire risk with building a DIY battery. With lithium iron phosphate batteries, there's no fire risk unless you short circuit something and there's something combustible in there. Lithium iron phosphate batteries will release vapor and gas. Of course, you're not supposed to breathe it in, and it could cause a chemical reaction and burn your skin, but there's no fire. Okay, you shouldn't have any issues with fire. Never knew Honda had power stations in Japan model. Cool. Well, maybe they're going to get started. I know they make a ton of really good products. I have a Honda snowblower and a Honda lawnmower and a Honda car. I have a Honda Accord. I don't have a Honda generator, though. I couldn't justify spending $2,000 on a generator. So I bought a WEN, W-E-N, 2,000 watt generator. Been very happy with it. It's worked really well. Ban everything. Okay, update on his power station. He has 10. So Go Labs, Rock Pals, 2 EB70s. Very nice. The rest are cheapos. Yes, you told me about all the cheapo ones for sure. But hey, cheapos. So Ask Guy of Solar uses the cheap ones like power dumps. So if he just stores the power in that battery, the cheapo power station, and then he dumps it off to another power station if needed. So it's nice to have them around. No, it's an entire power station for $399, but the reviews are mixed. Well, sorry to throw confusion off there. I know EcoWorthy does make lithium iron phosphate batteries. I'm pretty sure I've seen that on Amazon. Let me bring this up. Like these right here. Lithium iron phosphate batteries right here. I did not see that power station, by the way, looking at. See, here's lithium iron phosphate. $369 for a 100 amp hour battery. Still not the cheapest, but it works. It works. Are some of the foldable 100 watt solar panels more efficient than standard Renogy 100 watt panels? Yeah, SunPower cells are more efficient than Renogy solar panels. So if you get a high SunPower cell, high quality, high efficiency. So the problem is SunPower makes a ton of cells. They'll keep the best cells for their own solar panels. Then they'll sell their next version, the grade, say their grade A solar panels go to them. So if you buy a SunPower branded cell, you're going to get the best quality of SunPower cells. Then they sell off maybe a grade A.1 to companies like X-Star. Very good efficiency, they put out good power, but they're not going to be the best. And then they have grade B cells that are still SunPower cells that you get in like the lesser quality, like the A10 solar panel. It says it has SunPower cells, but it does not put out near the same power as the X-Star. So it's all related to cost. Cost means efficiency, so if you pay high dollars for a solar panel, you're going to be getting more wattage out of it. But sometimes that wattage is only like 10 watts. So you have to ask yourself, is an extra $50 worth 10 extra watts? Sometimes it's not. So when I look into buying a glass rigid panel, I look about the voltage output because I want the max amount of voltage I can get out of a 12 volt output. So that's going to be 24 to 22 volts. That's what I'm looking for. So if the solar panel puts out 18 volts, I'm kind of not interested in it. So that's why I've recommended, the Rich Solar, Bouge RV, because they put out the higher volts. And that's at least what benefits power stations the most, because most power stations have an amperage input limit. I talked about that a little bit earlier. Probably super confusing for you guys. I'm sorry if I was kind of mixed up a little bit. But basically, 12-volt panel, the highest voltage you can get, is going to give you the most power on your power station. What do you think the trend toward fanless design on lower-end units like the Amp Pro and Rumia? Maybe clarify what those are. I don't know what those are. Are these power stations without fans? Okay, yeah, you guys are correcting me on the, I'm pretty sure you're correcting me on the eco-worthy. Thank you. Stinky Boat 500. Believe it or not, powers my dorm fridge for several hours longer than my EP70S. Must be really, really efficient. That's cool. I always like to hear that type of stuff. Adam Fiki. Adam Fiki. I want to pronounce that right. I watched the channel and really enjoyed the breakdown. Recently bought a 120 watt Elicanta. Yes, excellent panel. Thanks for your hard work. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, the Elicanta is a great solar panel. I am disappointed that the prices on all these panels have gone up, guys. You used to be able to get a lot more bang for your buck on these portable panels. Like the Elicanta, it was like 168 bucks when I bought that thing. Katie and NH. Any rumors about Blue Yeti replacing their 1,000 watt power station that has been on sale? I would love to see a 1,000 watt EB100, right? New display. This is what I'm guessing, guys. Listen, I don't have any, anything coming down the vine from Blue Yeti. This is my estimation. Okay, this is what I think they're gonna do. They are sending me a EB3BA Blue Yeti 3BA, the advanced 300 watt hour power station. No external charging adapter. Charges super fast over AC. Charges fast over solar panels, and it's just this really compact. A really compact unit with an excellent upgraded screen. I think they're going to make that unit in all their sizes. So they're going to have like a EB3A, EB35, EB3, exactly, I don't know what the name scheme would be, but I'm thinking they're going to have a 500, 700, or even 1,000, okay? That's my guess. We'll see what happens. Movie Picks 2010, yes. Oh man, I can't remember. Okay, fanless design. Well, the only problem with fanless designs, and this is with DC output, if it's just DC output, it's okay, because DC output you don't get very hot unless you're really draining the battery. The AC inverter is what creates heat. My GoLab's 300 watt hour doesn't seem to like much over 22 volts. Yeah, some power stations, they do like lower voltage solar panels. So the GoLab's 300, that's the older style, right? I think the newer ones, they've made some upgrades to the solar charge controller, the 500 watt unit. I can't remember. Yeah, the 500 watt unit's the newest one. My channel, welcome. Have you used inverters and batteries? I use them all the time, at least for testing. I'm still working out some sort of setup. Well, okay. I have my Xantrix ProWatt 2000 I use for my testing. I love that inverter. And I have a bunch of 100 amp hour batteries, lithium iron phosphate. I had my own DIY build. Have you seen that build? That's an awesome, awesome build from battery hookup modules. I love using, if I'm powering a 12 volt compressor fridge, I love just using a battery because it's just straight output from the battery. There's no efficiency losses. So if you're looking to go camping and you just want the most simple, cheap setup, just buy a lithium iron phosphate battery, 100 amp hour, and just run your fridge right off that. It'll last forever. Thank you for all your time, your hard work that goes into these videos. Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for letting me know you're appreciative of it. Joe Tyson, welcome to the video. Yeah, you're not that late. I don't know how late this is gonna go. I guess I'll go until the concurrent viewers drop off. I currently show 50 viewers watching, so when that drops off, I know I'm getting a little late. Like I said earlier, my wife is out with her friend tonight, and the kids are still sleeping, baby's still sleeping, so we're still good. But yeah, if baby wakes up, I'm gonna have to get up. She's 7 months old now, so I might have to. She usually gets through the night. My two latest folding panels have sun power cells. Both put out very near listed watts. Interesting. Yeah, I think you sent me a message about those panels. The problem, ban everything, and this is a problem. I cannot recommend these products because they're one-offs. The prices are like one-offs, and then they sell out, and by the time I pick them up, everyone's like, "Well, I can't buy it." Blah. So you are the person that finds the best deals. However, I cannot replicate those deals usually. 65 watt output, that's great for power delivery. I wish all solar panels that had power delivery output, like the little back panel thing, 65 watts would be awesome. Yeah, check it out. It's a great video. 100 amp hour lithium iron phosphate build, battery hook and modules. Yeah, lots of stuff. What's the highest charge rate you've gotten from your solar on your GoLabs R300 hybrid life? Yeah, so he's asking you what's the most wattage you got, if you want to throw an answer down there. Hey, you didn't miss much. You can definitely watch the beginning of the stream. Just answering questions, hanging out with people. Appreciate you joining the stream. Have you ever tested any other batteries with heaters? Reliabad video is great to see. Yeah, it's pretty rare. Some people on the beginning of the streams told me that there are Battleborn batteries with heaters in them. I don't know the cost on those. But Battleborn is kind of the cream of the crop, the best battery out there. You pay for it though. 10-year warranty, excellent support, replace your battery, no questions asked type of thing. I have not tested any others. There are a few others, and they're becoming more popular because that's kind of the new trend with these batteries. However, do you need it? Do you need the heaters? If your battery's indoors, no. I wouldn't even look into it if it's in your house. If you're going to be using it in the summer during camping, I wouldn't look into it. If you're going to be camping in the winter, or if you're going to have it out in the shed when it's cold, or in some sort of portable cabin setup, something like that, anytime that you're going to have consistent 30-degree temperatures or lower, where the battery can actually get down to that temperature, that's where I'd recommend having a battery with heaters. Not every use case requires heaters. Cheaper power stations tend to have weaker inverters, so they'll use less power when on AC. Yes, that is correct. Great comment here, because the AC series from Blue Eddy, AC 200p, I've been using that. You leave the AC inverter on with no load, it's going to bring that battery down a lot, because there's a big, electronics are required to put out 2,000 watts. And so it has a lot more power draw when it's just sitting there idle. Parasitic drain. So if you have it might be beneficial to have a large power station to run your large things, and then a smaller power station to run your smaller things, because you'll notice when you leave the AC inverter on with a very small load, the AC inverter will use more power than the actual device. So definitely look into, if you're running smaller loads, have a smaller power station for that. One great thing that I've done a lot recently is I have my AC 200p that I'm using, 700 watts of solar coming into it, and I dump power from that into other power stations, and I use those to power my shop lights, these lights here. Those pull 50 watts each, so 100 watts consistently. So it's a good way to use your power. So great point, B3 Outdoors. Thank you for commenting on the video to point that out. Bigger inverters use more background power, so leaving the inverter on will bring the battery down quite a bit. Hate that problem, trying to help people find deals and then poof, they're gone. Yep. Yeah, you were the deal finder, but they disappear because there's like a few panels available. You do tech videos for solar panels, battery, etc. Man, that must be boring. Hey, I love this stuff, man. I don't know what you're thinking. It's great for me. I don't do tech videos just on this stuff. I actually, if you look at my previous channel videos before I started getting in this niche of power stations, solar panels, batteries, stuff like that, I did a lot of DIY projects, trailer restoration, fence builds, can storage, power wheel modifications. Yeah, you guys go back. I got a ton of different variety of videos, some RC videos. But yeah, it's, you know, if it's not your cup of tea, you know, there's no reason to sit and watch it, for sure. Chris, low temperature camping with trailer when camping. Yep, so that might be a use case for a heated battery. If you keep the inside of your trailer warm, not a huge deal. But yeah, I mean, if you're traveling and it gets down, also remember, it's only when it's charging that you need to worry about the low temperature. So you could also get a battery with a known low temperature cutoff, so that it just doesn't charge when it's cold, and then you know, it won't damage itself. But you do pay a premium for the heaters. Not gonna lie, you pay probably, it's like double the cost for a battery with heaters in it. Going to start a large generator build. I have two 12 volt 200 amp hour. I was going to hook in parallel. Sweet. I have all the components, but do you have a recommendation for AC charging that won't take forever? You know, that's a lot of power, guys. 400 amp hours. I have a Circuit Specialist's 60 amp 12 volt charger. It's an adjustable power supply. It charges at 60 amps. It cost a pretty penny, and I did buy it with my own money. Let me see if I can bring it up. Circuit Specialists. If I can spell. I think it's a 15 volts, 60 amp. It's this guy. Okay. Check out this price. Okay. I wanted a fast way to charge up my battery bank. So 15 volt. So this will only work for, you know, 4S batteries or, you know, 12 volt lithium iron phosphate, because it goes to 15 volts. So you set it to 14.6. 60 amps. This thing cooks, man. But look at that price, 246. You're going to, anything that's high amps, it requires so much. The components are much more big. They're much bigger. So you're going to be paying for it. And this is the cheapest one I could find, but it's worth it. It puts out a lot of power. Let's go over to the webcam. Okay, can anyone possibly figure out why my no-name 500 watt power station turns off at 70% charge? Sounds like the AC inverter is shutting off, or you know, causing it to short out or something. It's the only thing I can think of with that. M. McGregor or something like that. Battery charger and inverter connections. XT60, XT90, MC4, Anderson. Is there a rule of thumb on best connector for each connection, or is current the driver for which one you should use? Okay, so current is definitely important. I don't know what the max connection current is for MC4. I haven't looked that up. Anderson works really well. XT60, XT90 are great. I love Anderson Power Pole, and you can get the 45 amp connections. You can get the big gray connections. That's kind of the rule of thumb for overlanders in Australia. And it's picking up the Anderson Power Pole connection that's gray. That can handle some big amps. So that might be, that's at least on your larger connections. But no, just pay attention to your wire gauge. Pay attention to the max amp connection on your setup with all these connections. And just make sure that your max load, say if you're using a 2000 watt inverter, make sure your amp load matches all your connection types and your fuses and everything like that. And that's the only downside with going with a 12 volt battery. You're going to be pumping amps like crazy. So that's why I like going up to, I haven't tried this, but a 24 volt battery setup, you know, 24 volts, you get the same amount of power as a 12 volt battery, except for now you're at 24 volts, so you divide the amps in half. So instead of pushing 200 plus amps, you're only pushing 100 amps, so your connections and wires can be much smaller. How about your recommendations for LifeBow batteries with low temp charging protection but without heaters? Okay. It's kind of this weird thing with this. All the cheap batteries on Amazon don't have low temperature charging protection. They're starting to come out with more. Dr. Prepare has emailed me a while back saying their new battery has low temp charging protection. So they'll probably send one out. I can review that. But the problem is they think they can charge more for this feature that's required. I get super bugged. It's like, charge more because you put a temperature sensor on the BMS. No, you should have put a temperature sensor on the BMS from the beginning. So I would get super bugged if the one with the temperature sensor is more money. It's like a 5-cent adapter that they're hooking onto the BMS that should have been there in the first place. So I hope that they're not charging more for that little thermistor, you know? Moving Picks 2010. Enjoyed your videos. The checklist was a great idea to review power stations. I have 7 power stations, but enjoy buying the cheap ones. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 33 cents to 50 cents per watt hour. That is cheap. I've noticed usually when you go that cheap, you'll have issues with some of the outputs, charging issues, things like that, because they're just trying to, get rid of the stock. But hey, if they work for you, that's great. Thanks. The largest I found was 30 amps an hour. Yes, that 60 amp is a beast. Wait. 30 amps an hour. Yeah, I guess that's 30 amps. 30 amp hours is 30 amps at the exact moment, 30 amp hours over an hour. Reading your comment on cold weather charging, does that mean if I have a fully charged portable battery, I can leave it sit or discharge it in sub-zero temperature? Yes. Okay, so you can actually discharge lithium iron phosphate and lithium batteries at cold temps. The only issue is with charging them. So when you go to charge up the battery, that's when the damage can happen. So what really happens, let me explain briefly what happens here. When you charge a lithium iron phosphate battery below freezing, you get the formation, they're called dendrites that actually form on the inside of the cell. And so eventually those expand each time that it's charged below 0 degrees Celsius or 32 degrees Fahrenheit. And as those expand, they have a chance to short circuit. So you get less, that causes more resistance, so you get less capacity over time, and you get the chance of, short circuiting the battery, which wouldn't be a fire case in lithium iron phosphate. You just notice some vapor and heat and stuff. You should watch some videos. People have short circuited, you guys got to see this. It's being super cute. It's my dog Yeti. Yeti, come here. Hi, dudes. Oh, he's such a good boy. He's a Labradoodle, 7 years old. Hanging out with me tonight. Let's see if I can get this back up. Sorry for the shaky camera. Why is this not staying up? Okay, there we go. Better. Okay, so hopefully that answered your question. We use Anderson power pole connections in ham radio. Yeah, they're an excellent connection. I love them. I would recommend it to anybody. I've even had them outside. They don't mind water. I mean, sure, you putting it under the water, you might get some short circuit because water is a conductor. But I've had some Anderson power poles out in the weather and in the snow, and hasn't been an issue. I wouldn't say they're waterproof, but I haven't had an issue. Do you have a favorite fridge, 12-volt fridge in the 42-quart size? I've watched a lot of reviews looking for most efficient. Most efficient VL45. Easily most efficient. VL45 is a beast. C-Cop compressor, 5-year warranty. The price, you just can't beat it. I have a 12% discount code to take the price down. Yeah, that's going to be the best option. Yep, let's move on. Set Power RV45 is my favorite fridge for the price. Okay, so yes, Set Power fridge. So you guys can see that Iceco and Set Power have like the same models. I'll just leave it at that. But basically, Set Power fridges don't have C-Cop compressors in them. They're very efficient fridges. They have a 3-year warranty on their compressors. And I have not noticed any issues with my Set Power fridges. I love them. I have the one behind me. Oh my gosh, the mirror on this is so horrible. Okay, I'm giving up. Anyway, one behind me is the new Set Power RV60 Dual Pro. It's got wheels, handles, cool features. Anyway, I think I'm having that video out coming this next Friday. Yeah, thanks. Happy to help, man. Happy to help. B3 Outdoors, I love how he joins in the chat. He's super helpful too. Thank you, B3, for explaining stuff. Viver clone of the Alpacool CX50 LG compressor. Love it. 50 liters, but there's a 40 liter version. Yes. So you do have a lot of the Alpacool clones. You can get a really, really good price LG compressor. The only thing that I've noticed about those fridges is you get the return policy through Amazon, but I don't think they have really much of a support or a customer service. So that would be my only worry, is when it breaks, it might be considered just done, but they are very affordable. So you could have one last for 3 years, not have any issues, and then it breaks. How do you route your PV wires from your panels into your house? Any special installation, or are you running through the door window? I'm going under my door seal. I have that rubber door seal on the bottom. I'm using outdoor landscape wire, 12 gauge wire, 2-strand. Or two conductor. It works really well. I don't notice much voltage drop, and it's not really much of a problem. I would love to go through my wall, but it's like 20 feet more to get in my office. So I'm fine just keeping it, so I don't have to deal with code or permits or anything like that. So yeah, running from an outdoor array inside the house. This would be a setup that worked really well if you had a power outage. You could have your solar panels outside, run underneath your main door, and have the power station indoors. A lot of people have been emailing me lately about how do you do that. Happy to answer questions via email, guys. But just like, I have a lot of emails, so you might have a little delay. So don't send me 2 emails if you didn't give a response in the first one. I'm just bringing this up really quick. MC4 connection. Let's go to lift. Okay. So this here. Okay, so right here you can see Bouge RV, Renogy, they all make these extensions. Even iGreeley is a great option here. But yeah, you guys can see there's 10 feet, 20 foot, 30 foot extensions. Bouge RV and Renogy both make 10 AUG. Now this AUG means the wire gauge. So for people that don't understand how gauge works, the lower number the gauge, the larger diameter, which means it will handle more amps and you'll get less resistance, which causes less voltage drop. So if the longer the span of the wiring and the more amps means you want to go to a larger gauge wire. So 20 AUG wire is teeny, itsy bitsy, small wire, handles barely any amps. 12 gauge, 10 gauge can handle 25 to 30 amps just fine. Okay. So if you're going a long run, you want to use 10 AUG. If you're doing maybe like 20 to 30 feet, you're probably good using 12 AUG. Go back here. If you have a grid solar panel system on your house, why not connect your solar generator via AC during the time to charge it up? So I do not have grid tie solar. I just have a portable array and then some panels I'm going to put on my shed. This would definitely work just fine. If you were getting all your power from solar panels, yeah, you could definitely plug it into your wall and that would be considered charging it up. The only downside to that is when you charge via AC, you're losing some efficiency there because it's going from AC to DC power. So, well, it's going, okay, solar panels DC, inverter to AC, and then AC power back to DC, on the power station. So a lot of conversion going on there, a lot of efficiency losses. So you're probably only going to get like 70% of your power, and a lot of it's going to be lost through heat. So the most efficient way is just to plug the solar panel straight in. But of course, this would work just fine. Great question. Got my CX50 clone, LG Viver clone, eBay for $253. Yeah, consider it disposable. Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. I have people that sometimes say, you know, you bought a fridge for $250 and they have very, very, very high unreliable or something expectations. Anyway, their expectations are not correct about the money they're spending. Like if you go out and buy a $1,200 fridge, expect to toss it around in the back of the truck. It's going to do great. It's going to be very durable. You buy a $250 fridge, it's a disposable fridge. But yeah, how has it been working for you? Hope it's been working good. Oh, next question here. Oops, this one. It's been running for over a year continuously, no problems, including years on dry desert. Yeah, that's great. And sometimes I don't think, you know, I have a lot of cheaper fridges I reviewed, and yeah, they had great efficiency. They weren't loud or anything, and I actually gave them away to family, and they're working just fine. So, for example, that New Air fridge, it had an LG compressor. It ran for 8 months straight as a full-size fridge for, you know, the 80 quarts giant. But yeah, that one ran for a long time, no issues. It's still fine. No issues still. Okay, I've decided my situation to I use a much less expensive 3.5 dorm fridge. Yep, since that one. Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. Yes, the small cubic foot fridges use way less power. So yeah, great point. Okay, looking to buy a first power station for portable use solar charging. I'm considering Blue Yeti EB70S. Is there something else I consider as a top competitor, similar power and weight? 700 watt hour power stations, there aren't too many around. There are some smaller no-name brands. One was brought up previously on the stream. I brought it up. You can check that out. Never seen it before. You also have EcoFlow, the River Pro. It also has 700 watt hours. I'm still doing extensive testing on that. However, that one has lithium NMC batteries, so you will not get as many life cycles over the total life of the power station. So let me explain about life cycles. I have some other questions about life cycles recently. I've had some people ask, what happens at 80% capacity? Is the power station done? Is it dead? Should it throw it away? So if you bought the EB70S, it has 2,000 life cycles to 80% capacity. That means you can charge it and discharge it 2,000 times, and it'll still have 80% of the capacity remaining. That means instead of 700 watt hours, it's going to have 500. I'm not going to do the math exactly, but it'll still have some decent capacity. So you can still use these power stations after the life cycles have hit 2,000. You can use them until they completely die, until you basically plug in, it in, and it's not going to do anything. So comparing the life cycles, let's say you could get 4,000 life cycles completely out of a EB70S. That means you could probably get around 1,600, maybe 1,400 out of an EcoFlow River Pro. They both have 700 watt hours, but which one's going to last you longer? You kind of have to just look at the options available. I always recommend kind of going with a company that has at least some sort of support. The UPEZ 600 is a little bit, didn't score very good in the capacity. Still great power station, 700 watt hours. Yeah, it's kind of an odd number. I would love to see more 1,000 watt hour power stations, but I understand that the 1,000 watt inverter is kind of a weird thing. You can't power a lot of bigger appliances on a 1,000 watt inverter, and that's why I don't think we see a lot of those. I think they jump to the 2,000 watt power stations because then you can plug in any appliance in your house and run it off that power station. It won't last for very long, but at least you can power it up. Caleb, I wish there was a 1,000 watt hour station with a 2,000 watt inverter. Yeah. Oh man, guys, my voice, I lost my voice earlier this week, so this is really cooking it, but this is awesome. I love it. So Caleb, your question here. The problem with a 1,000 watt-hour power station, when you go to run a 2,000 watt device, that is only going to run for 30 minutes. Because 2,000 watts will, in fact, it's probably actually pulling the batteries are going to be really stressed out in that situation. Batteries like to be discharged at a 1C limit. So if you have a 100 amp hour battery, you want to discharge it at 100 amps. If you have a 1,000 watt-hour power station, it's going to be wanting to be discharged around 1,000 watts. So you don't see these power stations like this because it will damage the batteries. So that's kind of a brief explanation of why you don't see that. The 2,000 watt-hour power stations, they're not too bad. I would still call them portable. The Energizer 2000 that I'm going to have a video out, the AC 200P, the EcoFlow Delta Max, those are all three 2,000 watt-hour power stations, and I can carry them around without breaking my back. They are heavy, easily carry them with two people. Yeah, I do have a discount code for Set Power Fridges too, and it's 12% off. That's a decent discount. So Ice Code needs to send you the VL60 single zone. It's really on the fence. Decent increase in space for $50 more. You're talking about the standard VL, the tall skinny. It's basically a VL45 with a taller height. The single zone VL60. So just imagine a VL45 with like 5 inches added onto the top of it. So if you like the VL45, you're going to like the VL60. Let's see, and is there a good alternative to Blue Eddy panels? Like, are they overpriced? Okay. Good question on the overpriced. Sorry, I'm trying to hold back a cough. PV200, I think it's priced pretty decent. I think the SP200s are a little bit overpriced. Yeah. I'm going to be doing some more videos on my PV200. I want to really test that thing out and get some real... I did a review on it earlier. I was very impressed with the build quality. Saw good output on the wattages. I just need to use that panel more. So I'm going to try to be using it more in my videos. So yeah, just stick around. And watch out for that. Aris Marquez. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for joining. Let's see. Okay, yeah. So VL45. Yep, it is... It is the same compressor. Power usage would be slightly more, teeny bit more, like 2 to 3 watts. Yep, wouldn't be much at all. So just get the dimensions. Because it's taller, it's going to have a problem opening up in a vehicle. That's the only downside to a tall, skinny fridge. The other thing I don't like about a tall, skinny fridge like the VL60 is you just got to really kind of move everything out of the way and move things around to get to the bottom of the fridge. The other thing is when you have a tall, skinny fridge, the bottom is much cooler than the top. So you want to put your meats and your sensitive foods at the bottom, and then like your fruit and veggies at the top, where it's definitely going to be not as cold at the top. And that's just normal for these fridges because you have a lid on top that opens up and cold air settles. So you're going to get the coldest temperature on the bottom and you're going to get your warmest temperature on top. It's still going to be pretty decent. But I have a lot of people that'll tell me, well, my fridge is like way above the temperature set point. And it is on the very top of the fridge. There is some compensation that you have to adjust. Like sometimes I'll have the thermometers in there. Let's see, fridge thermometer, fridge. Come on. Let me pull this up really quick. Okay, left. Okay, so this is, I always recommend having these. They're accurate. They work well. $5 for 2 of them. So yeah, I would definitely recommend picking these up. Then you can know exactly what the temperature is inside and then you adjust the temperature set point accordingly. So, for example, say your fridge is like, you have it set to 35 degrees, and it's showing 40 degrees on the inside of your fridge. With these thermometers, you'd be able to see the temperature inside, and then you would adjust your display down 3 degrees and see what happens. Fridge displays are always going to be a little off. That's just how they are. So you can't expect exact numbers from those fridges. Regular glass panel, unless you must have lightweight portable setup. I must have missed something there. Oh, alternative to Blue Eddy panels. Yeah, so glass rigid panel will always be the cheapest. $1 per watt or less. Bouge RV, Rich Solar, HQST, New Power. Those are all great glass rigid panels. Renogy. Just find the best price for the power and you'll be good. I need a tall skinny fridge to fit behind the passenger seat, Prius Prime. The CXCC 3050 exactly fits puddings. Yeah, okay, yep. And that is a very special niche of the market. The JP series for IceCo are the tall skinny fridges. Same with the VL60. So yeah, there is a need for a tall skinny fridge. The brand new one I just got that I'm gonna put a review out is it's called the JP50 Pro, and they made some really cool changes. IceCo made some really cool changes to it. So you guys will probably be excited to see that. Ban everything. Love folding panels as an emergency power source because they can directly power USB fans. Yeah, battery chargers. Yep. So he's referring to folding panels that have the USB circuitry on the back. Not all portable panels have that, but it is a benefit to have that. I have noticed sometimes that circuitry on the back will sometimes lessen the efficiency or the output of the main output. It seems like a little bit of background power goes to the USB regulation. So I would definitely recommend, if you're not going to be planning to use any USB charging off your solar panel, but only your power station, pick up a panel that maybe doesn't have the regulation. The X-Star SP100 does not. Glass rigid panels don't. And that also means the solar panel is going to be much more waterproof, because on a portable panel, the only thing that I would worry about it failing in the water or rain or snow or whatever you're using it is that junction box on the back. A glass rigid panel doesn't have that. X-Star SB100 doesn't have that. The Big Blue solar panels, the ones I recently reviewed, those really nice ETFE waterproof panels, they don't have a junction box either, so should be good. 650 is under my pillow when car camping. I train myself to get used to start-stop noises, keep it next to my bed. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's you will hear the compressor, and some compressors are definitely louder than others. My Set Power RV45 Dual, a little bit louder fan on that guy. Compressor's not too bad. But some people like that type of noise, like background noise. Orgweiser 2000, thank you so much. Let me clear my throat really quick here, guys. Anyway, thank you so much for the donations, guys. I love it. Katie and NH. New Hampshire, I'm guessing that's New Hampshire, right? Maybe let me know. I put a JP40 between two seats in my van as an extra fridge while camping. Then the dog bed goes on top. Yeah, I bet he loves that. Oh man, dogs love to be right next to the captain chairs. That's the benefit to the JP series. They're a long, narrow fridge, and they fit between a lot of captain chairs. So that is a benefit. So I have a JP30. I've never done a review on. It is in that large comparison video. But yeah, New Hampshire, cool. Jason, 999, thank you so much. Guys, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Cool. How long has this thing been going? 2 hours. Holy crap. Time flies, guys. Well, I still got 50 people on here. Anybody have any other questions? Any other questions at all? I would love to answer your questions. You know, like I said, my wife's off hanging out with her friends. Movie night has been canceled, so I am totally happy to keep this going. As long as you guys got questions or anything you want to talk about. It's only 10:49 where I'm at. So people on the West Coast, it's only 9:49 where you're at. How often do you do a live stream Q&A? I'd love to do it more. I've done like 3 of them. This is my third live stream, and I just threw this one out. Like, if this is cool for you guys, like not giving a head notice on it, I'd totally be cool to do this more often. As long as my voice will tolerate it. Sheesh, guys. Hybrid Life, also New Hampshire. Hit me up if you ever need actual dimensions on the fridge. Mini descriptions are wrong. Yes, I try to give pretty accurate dimensions in my reviews. But yeah, sometimes they are off. Sometimes they have a little bit of a buffer just in case there's, you know, they're not off by a ton. Would you review a power station you knew was crap like the Fort Patriot one? Good question. I feel that I can offer a service by reviewing crap power stations and tell people not to buy them. I've thought about it. I think, you know, it's a lot of money to buy that stuff. And a lot of times the crap power stations I'm not interested in them. And I've noticed that a lot of people don't view those videos. So people know just from the thumbnail. They're like, yeah, that's a crap power station. I'm not looking at it. So I usually wouldn't get my money back on YouTube revenue for it. Usually, actually, YouTube pays crap. So I mean, YouTube revenue is horrible. So I wouldn't. Some videos I have made my money back, but not all of them. 6:49 in Hawaii. You on a trip or you living there, man? Living the life. Let me flip this around. I've known a lot of people going to Hawaii lately. Probably loosening up the restrictions there. Congrats on your trip. Or if you live there, congrats on living the life, man. I was just lucky I came home and stumbled on this one. Sweet. Yeah. Anytime you have questions, feel free to email me. Like I said, guys, jasonoidllc@gmail.com. I'm happy to give you some basic advice. I'm not going to do like a full-on... I've had a few people request some very, very heavy questions and processes and stuff. And maybe if they offered to compensate me for my time, like, hey, these are some heavy questions, I'll give you money. But for just some back and forth, brief emails, recommendations, easy questions, happy to give you guys advice via email. Man, ban everything. You can get MC4 adapters to rig up to USB power to a glass panel. Yep. Excuse me. Southern New Hampshire. You guys that's awesome. I love when viewers can connect. Yeah, where are you guys at? Is anybody in the West Coast? I'm curious if anybody's, kind of in the California, Nevada, Utah, Idaho, anything like that. That'd all be kind of around my area. And if you got some East Coast here, people, congrats. You are up late. Thank you for staying up for the stream. X-Star panel is fantastic. I agree with you. Thank you. And I remember I think you sent me either a YouTube comment or an email about your testing results. 113 watts, baby, man. Those things put out 113 watts. Every single person that has bought them and let me know has seen 113 watts more or slightly less. So very good results on those X-Stars. Man, I need to hit them up, see if they can get a 200 watt panel coming out. I would love to see a 200 watt panel from them. I live near Keene. My business is in Nashua. So 101, 101A all the time. I don't get the reference on the 101. Is that a road? Time? Not sure. SPPPE. Okay, setting up a 24 volt system with signature solar pre-built battery bank, all-in-one inverter is the correct order of the battery, then 150 amp fuse, then the bus bar, and then the all-in-one inverter. You always want your fuse to be as close to the battery source, because if something short-circuited, the battery is going to send all that power out super quick. So your fuse needs to be right next to the battery, and then you're good. That will protect you against any short-circuiting. Or, you know, if you draw too much power for your wiring, it has a very short amount of wire that it has to travel, so the wire will not catch on fire before that fuse blows. So yeah, great question. Got a 24 volt lithium ion build. Overkill solar battery BMS in the van. Cell deviation is roughly 60 millivolts, under 60 amp load. Good. That's not too bad. 1400 watt water heater. Is it merely a connection issue? 60 millivolts. It's pretty normal to see under a heavy load to see some voltage deviation. That just means the cells aren't perfect, matched. So I would, what is it like when it's settled? You may have to do some active balancing. If the cells aren't perfect, so BMSs have some built-in balancing, but it's kind of a joke. You're talking like milliresistors, like they don't do much. So you're going to want to get an active balancer if you keep seeing, voltage differences on your cells. So charge it up to 95%, put an active balancer on it, and then keep charging it, and they'll all equal out. And then see if that helps. Will Prowse isn't a huge fan of active balancers, but on mismatched cells or cells that are older, it's a benefit. For example, my battery hookup modules, the 100 amp modules, I top balanced them. They don't have much cell deviation at all, cell voltage deviation. My previous build, my cheap AliExpress cells, the 80 amp hour battery that I built, it works well, but one of those batteries is bad. It drops short, so I'll only be able to pull 70 amp hours out of that battery. But that's what I get for buying super cheap AliExpress lithium iron phosphate cells. So battery quality does usually have to deal with how they are matched and their total capacity. So yeah, if you're having issues like this, I would definitely recommend an active balancer. You can find those on Amazon, fairly cheap. Basically, you just plug a lead into each terminal on the battery, and then you're good to go. Yeah, you saw Hobotech's video, right? He made an awesome video about that. And you know what? Everyone needs to talk about. You guys need to share with anybody you know. If someone is talking about the 4 Patriots power station, you tell them right away, you are buying a scam. It's $3 a watt. You're spending $3 a watt hour when you can go buy a Blue Eddy for $1 watt hour. The price is ridiculous. The quality's crap. Okay, yeah, you're just staying there for a little bit. Okay. From Seattle. Nice, not too far away. Worked in downtown Nashua, live in Merrimack for 30 years, recently retired. Love Keene and Keene Airport. Yeah, thanks for sharing. Minnesota. Hence the cold questions. Yes, very true. BC, British Columbia, heading to California in 3 days. Oh, sweet. What you doing in California? Going to Disneyland? SeaWorld? Business? Indiana, East Coast guy. Wow, well, kind of East Coast. You're up late. Thanks for watching. Apex NC in the house. You're up really late, Joe. SP003 Rock Pals over the RP082 when the 82 is $10 more. Okay. Okay. Main thing here, and this is what you're looking about whenever you're looking at a portable panel. PET versus ETFE. If you're going to be using this a lot, I wouldn't even consider the SP003 because the PET will break down pretty quick. It's going to start cracking, fading, yellowing, all that stuff. Excuse me, guys. Voice is really dying here. But the RP082 has ETFE. So I would personally pay for the extra $10. You're going to get a lot more life. And it has kickstands. And it does come with adapters. So I would go with the RP082 for the Blue Eddy AC50. From Asia. Where are you at in Asia? Just country. I don't have to know exact location, address. New Mexico. Nice. Yeah, you're just down below me. I'm in Utah. Do the thickness of the MC4 solar cables to the solar generator make a difference? Yes, but it just depends on how long the distance is, right? If you have just this little distance of 18 gauge wire, it's not going to be huge. But some solar panels have a really long 10-foot cable that's like 18 gauge, 16 gauge, and you will notice some voltage drop. So I do prefer power stations and solar panels that have 12 gauge wire at least. It's okay to have 14 gauge, but you're really getting in bad territory with 16 gauge and 18 gauge wiring. You'll notice some voltage drop, especially over long distances. Always try to keep it to 10 gauge, 12 gauge with solar. Hybrid Life and Katie, you guys are in the same area? Sweet. Okay, so 101 was the road across. Sweet. Nice. Texas in the house. Who's got more knowledge, you or dad? Love the videos. So, yeah, obviously, my father-in-law. Jeff is my father-in-law in my videos. He started all the interest of this. I didn't really know much of this stuff, and he's taught me a lot of it. And then just through personal research and experimenting and stuff like I've learned a lot about this stuff. And then you pick up all the jargon by talking about it. But he definitely has the knowledge about the electronics and electrical engineering. He is a pro with a lot of this stuff. And some of the stuff he still talks about because he engineers a bunch of stuff. He does some part-time work still, even though he's retired. And some of the stuff he talks about still goes over my head a little bit. But it's complicated circuitry he does in his boards he builds. So, yeah, FYI, I'm going on a family reunion camp out with Jeff, and I will show you guys his full camping setup. So if it's a 40-minute video, I don't give a crap. I'm going to give you guys his whole camping setup because I know you guys will love it. So be prepared. I will do a Jeff camping setup with his fridges. Well, his fridge. He bought a VL74. So one fridge is always best, guys. 2 fridges, you'll use a ton of power. 1 large fridge uses less power than 2 small fridges. It's always better to run one compressor that uses a little bit more power than 2 small compressors. So he upgraded to a VL74, the standard series. He has a cool portable shower like I do. Really cool setup. Yeah. Anyway, I'll do a video on that. Hopefully you guys will like that. I think you guys will. Top balance to 3.6. This was after it settled. I will look into an active balancer. Yeah, it'll benefit you. Timberjack, thank you for joining. Didn't comment previously, but very informative. Hey, good night. Thanks for hanging out. I know it's late. Yes, Hobotech's April Fool's video was awesome, man. So good, so good. I gotta check the baby monitor here. She's still sleeping. Cool. Yep, glad he did that review. Hilarious, hilarious. I'm in Tennessee. Well, welcome. I used to live in Tennessee, right outside of Franklin. Lots of clouds, lots of trees, lots of rain. Yep, very, very humid, but beautiful. The people in Tennessee are so nice. I loved that. The neighborhoods would have parties. Everyone was everyone's friend. Didn't care what religion you were from, what color you were. Everyone was great. I love that about Tennessee. I hope your experience was the same as mine. Getting a Jackery 1000 using my iSco VL45. Yeah, Jackery Power Station, they work really well. They have very good support. Their build quality is very good. The only thing that you might want to question, just depends how often you'll be using it, is the Jackery Power Station has lithium NMC batteries, so you won't get quite as many life cycles on that power station. So maybe expect 1,600 uses over the entire life of that power station. I don't know what they're rated at. I can't remember off the top of my head. It might be rated at maybe 1,000 cycles to 80% capacity, but you can use it past 80% capacity. I'm really hoping that Jackery comes out with some lithium iron phosphate power stations soon, because they're a little bit behind the trend on that. But if you're looking for a company with great build quality, excellent support, decent price, Jackery is a great option. An old man got furious when he told me, with me, when I told him 4 Patriot was a ripoff, finally convinced him. Good. You need to convince everyone, guys. 4 Patriots is out there to basically steal money from veterans and old people. I see there's an FF Power 2001. Looks like there's, yes, they are the same. Alcatel is the company that makes it. FF Power used to be called Bibeam, and Bibeam rebranded to FF Power. So now you have the two companies. You have Alcatel, which is the direct distributor, and then you have FF Power Bibeam, who buys them from Alcatel and rebrands them. They're exactly the same unit, by the way. No differences. FF Power wanted to send one out, and I was like, guys, I already did a review on the Alcatel. I don't know what I could say different about the FF Power. So I didn't have them send it out for review. Indiana. Australia. Awesome. Yeah, you guys are the overlanding kings over there. You guys started it all. If anybody wants to know about overlanding, you go watch some Australia videos. Nice. Cool. It looks like lithium iron phosphate power station from Rock Pals. I would love to see it. They reached out about me wanting to review their old power stations, and I was like, guys, I don't want to review an old power station that's been around for 5 years, 3 to 5 years. I want your new stuff. So we'll see. They might send one out. Florida, no battery heaters needed where you are. Yep, that is so true. Yep. Well, you get some weird frost storms every now and then. Pretty rare, right? Once every 10 years. Philippines, awesome. Well, thanks for joining the channel. We have lots of blackouts here, and your EB70 review made me purchase it. Thanks, by the way, EB70. Okay, cool. 1,000 watt, 716 watt hours. Cool, upgraded inverter, I guess. Might be because the voltage is higher. I don't know if you run off 120 volts. Waiting for this video. What videos? Maybe throw it out. Sorry, I didn't remember which video you're talking about. Soul and Mind Chef. Thank you. Will you ever use wind turbines to power a solar generator? You could. The voltage has to be under 30 volts, for a small power station. So as long as you have to have good consistent wind. In my area, we do get wind storms. Like we get wind pressure fronts that when there's a cold front coming in, we get a lot of wind. but it's not consistently windy here in my area, so I wouldn't really benefit from it. But as long as the voltage tolerances of the wind generator, wind turbine, meet the output of the power station, it should be fine. I use mine as a freezer, swap the frozen water bottles out into an insulated cooler bag to use as a fridge. Yep, that's a great use for a 12-volt cooler for sure. Sorry, I'm still muted. What do you think of an EV car that goes 1,000 miles of charge? That would be legit. I believe it goes 1,000 miles because it's very small, it's very lightweight, it doesn't accelerate very fast. So you got to think of it as it doesn't use much power, so that power lasts longer. So not fast acceleration, things like that. But yeah, I've heard about some of these, maybe test models that go a long time. I think it's more like a motorcycle, right? It's a trike. So a trike is considered a motorcycle, so they can avoid a lot of the safety regulations that a car has to go through. That's usually how they get away with the lightweight requirements. I remember I watched a couple of hybrid stuff back in the day, or even just gas. There was a 3-wheeled trike that was supposed to get like 80 miles to the gallon because it had a small engine in it, and it just never came to fruition. Yeah, I can't wait for the camping video. I got 4 kids and a wife. They don't like to rough it as I do. Yes, my wife grew up camping, so we're okay, kind of roughing it. But we camp in tents, car camping most of the time. We do a little backpacking every now and then. But the power stations really help with kids. So sound machines, fans, 12-volt compressor fridges, bottle warmers. I'm trying to think of anything else that'd be really useful if you had like a baby around. So yeah, things are really beneficial. A power station is really beneficial when you're camping. Is there a way to charge solar solar generator from grid tie? No, the grid tie solar panels are usually at extreme voltages. They push panels in series at like 600 volts because you don't want any amp. You want low amps so you don't get any power loss. So those panels are usually wired together in large series connections and then tied in the inverter. So usually not. It's okay. I mean, if you had grid tie solar and you plugged it into the wall, you're still getting power from solar. It's just you're going to have a little bit of a loss through efficiency. So still better than charging it off like not solar power. So I'd recommend it. It's fine. Aptera. Yeah, I recently saw that in the news. I use my EB70 to power a small dorm fridge during a hurricane during power outages. Yep. Get a long runtime. Only the F. William, thanks for the info. Only the F. FF power, maybe? Is that what you're asking about? No, I think you guys are going back and forth. Oh, here we go. Thanks for the info. I guess the only difference is the name printed on the unit. Yes, that's correct. Any vids coming down the line if in the updated EB70S? I asked Blue Eddy exactly about that. They don't want to send me an EBS because it's the same exact thing as the EB70. The only difference is the inverter uses 800 watts instead of 700. But the EB70 kind of will allow 800 watts. So I think they just changed the name on it. And I think they updated the screen so it stays on longer. For the most part, they're exactly the same power station. The video about the overlanding setup. Maybe missing something here. Yeah, I would love to do a video about overlanding, but I just don't have an overlanding vehicle. I don't have a rooftop tent, blah, blah, blah. I do have a dirt bike. I take up into the mountains sometimes with a friend of mine, and we go dirt biking, but I wouldn't consider that really overlanding. I use my EV55 with my electric blanket in my tent. Okay, so this is a great use case. Thanks for sharing. So a lot of people ask, hey, how long is a heater going to run on my power station? Well, a heater uses a ton of wattage, guys. So if you have a 2,000 watt hour power station like the AC200P, and you plug a 1500 watt heater into that, which is a normal heater that you have in your house, full-size heater, that's going to last like less than an hour. It's going to last like 30 minutes. Well, maybe about 45 minutes. Because of efficiency losses when you're pulling max power. And so this point he brings up here is important, because another way to stay warm that's way more efficient than an electric heater is by using a DC powered electric blanket. So if you go camping and maybe you don't have the best sleeping bag, or you don't want to bring a sleeping bag and you just want to have a blanket and an electric blanket, it's an excellent way to stay warm. The main thing that you want to do when you're camping to stay warm is to have a layer of insulation under you so you can stay warm. The ground is going to suck the heat out of you, or the air. So if you're on a cot, the air will suck the heat out of you. So you always want to have a layer of insulation under you. And as long as you're insulated under you, you can put the electric blanket on top, a couple blankets on top, sleeping bag, and you'll be good. So if you're not familiar with camping in cold temps, just make sure you're always insulated underneath you so your body heat can stay inside, your sleeping bag or whatever. How many watts does electric blanket use? I've got one, but I just haven't tested it. They pull around 50 watts. And if some of them have temperature settings, it's like 50 watts high, 25 watts low. Very efficient. I mean, that'll last way longer than 1500 watts. Electric ATVs, they're coming. They're coming. The electric dirt bike thing has started, and I think it's coming, guys. We'll get some really cool electric options soon. The only problem is, think about range. You go off-roading, and sometimes you go in like a 60-mile loop. I couldn't see an electric ATV going that long, and you get stranded in the middle of nowhere. I mean, how would you charge it up? So range might be a little issue on these. Looking forward to camping videos. I'm experimenting with power stations, solar panels, appliances to determine how far I want to go when I do a solar upgrade for my 2006 conversion van. Yeah, I've heard heating pads are really good, like a heat plate to cook on. It's always best to use gas, though. I would definitely recommend, if you're going to be cooking, cook with a gas stove. Adequate ventilation, of course, and have a carbon monoxide detector. But to save on electricity, cooking with propane or any other gas source is going to be way better. You're going to save a lot on electricity, because heating stuff requires a ton of electricity. Maybe he's getting up. He's like, oh, I'm sick of hearing him talk, so he's going to leave. My dog. You leaving, Yeti? Yeah? You going to leave? Okay. Okay, the problem is, if the problem is there's a power outage, the grid-tied solar panels get cut off. That is correct. Is there any way to get power from them when the grid goes down? You have to have a solar company also install backup batteries with that solar setup. So yeah, grid tie, unless you can jimmy rig and kind of break coding rules and permits, take the panels out and do your own thing. I think there are some smart panels or some smart inverters that will allow you to use the solar panels, but in most cases with grid tie, you cannot use the solar panels in a power outage situation. It was 60 watts if I remember right. Going back to your other comment here. Yeah. How will y'all stay cool in your camping trip? We go high elevation, man. I don't go camping in hot temperatures. I go up in the mountains, or I go in spring and fall when it's not so hot. But I live in a high desert. It gets hot. Our temperatures are around 100 degrees in the summer, and I can't imagine anybody trying to camp in that. But yeah, we go camping in high elevation, so that's how we stay cool. We go camping to get out of the heat. That's what we use. Wool blankets are great. When I was in a band, an army blanket kept me warm when I had to sleep in my truck. Yes, wool blankets are dense and heavy, and they're compact, and that's why they're so good. They also perform very well if they get wet. So yeah, so what I would do is I'd have my electric blanket, and then I'd put a wool blanket on top of that to hold that heat in. So electric blanket, wool blanket, you're going to be golden. Hi, Jason. What are sodium-ion batteries? It's a new technology. So they're not going to change quite as much. They're not very energy dense. They take up a lot of space and they weigh a lot of weight. But from what I hear, you can get a ton of life cycles, and I don't think temperature matters on those. So that would be the benefit. I don't know much about them, though. EB70 was 0 in the morning. It was 28 degrees at night. 0%? Yeah. Rice cookers that work great. Use 20% of my Go Labs. Okay, yeah. So it'll use a lot of power really quick, a rice cooker. That's a benefit to that. Would I be better buying a 12-volt electric blanket and not run the... Yes. So that's a good question. So anytime that you want to use power out of your power station, you're going to have more efficiency out of the DC output. Now, if you remember in my testing, every single power station I review, I do a capacity test on the DC output, and then I do a capacity test on the AC output. And most of the time, I'll always get more efficiency, more watt hours, more power from the DC output. And it's because you just don't have an AC inverter running in the background, burning extra power to convert the DC power to AC power. Anytime you convert electricity, you're wasting power through heat. So a DC powered blanket is going to last longer than an AC powered blanket. So make sure if you're going to buy a heated blanket, it's a DC powered blanket. Great question. I saw a guy on YouTube do a proof of concept charging his Tesla with a Jackery and a 100-watt panel. Obviously, dismal charging speeds. But what do you think of the concept? Yeah, I mean, if you're in an emergency and you need to charge it, you can charge with a wall plug. I think it takes like 60 hours or something. It's like an unreasonable amount of time. No, 40 hours? Can't remember. Proof of concept is there. You just need a lot more solar panels and a larger inverter. Charging your car, you'll get the most charging speed at a higher voltage, so 240 volts. So normal AC homes in the United States, you have 2 lines that come into your house that are 120 volts each. And you can have an electrician wire them up specially for high output devices, stoves, electric heater, things in your house that pull a ton of power, electric dryers, clothes dryers. Those require 240 volts. So when you charge your car at 240 volts, you charge it way faster than with 120 volts. So hopefully that answers your question there. But yeah, it does work as a cool concept. I think as batteries get better, more dense, and if solar panels get better, we'll probably see some more portable options with charging. USB ports are DC output. So for the most part, they're part of the DC output. They probably have their own conversion, their own board. Some power stations will separate DC output, USB ports, and AC inverters. Some are the USB and DC are the same. But it's 5 volts, so it's definitely different than the DC output. But USB ports are efficient because it's just DC power. So you take DC power from the battery, go down to 5 volts DC, so less conversion losses. Oh, look at those. I probably want to use for extra power when I run my Instapot, Vitamix, and extra fridge while boondocking. It's supplemental to my propane and generator. Yeah, sure. Always, cooking with propane is the best way. But sometimes if you have a battery that's sitting at full and you want to use some power out of it so you can charge it back up, why not use that, right? Okay. Yeah, guys, 2.5 hours, that's kind of a lot, right? Maybe we should call it. What do you guys think? Any last requests before I end the stream? Anyway, I love doing this, guys. I'm going to try doing this more often. I'm super appreciative of everyone that has donated to the stream tonight. They're called Super Chats. I've had a lot of people donate, and I really appreciate it. It makes it worth it to do these live streams. To set apart time for my family. Obviously, my kids are in bed, so it's not a problem. But with my wife being out with her friends, it just made sense to do it tonight. Let's see here. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah. Thanks, guys, for watching. Good night. Appreciate it. Yeah, good night. Good night. Have a good evening. Thank you. Yeah, I'm always happy to give insights. Once again, guys, check out my website if you have any questions about discount codes. I always try to update those as much as I can. I update that power station grading system all the time. I'm going to make a fridge grading system. Well, I don't know about a grading system for fridge, but I want to do a spreadsheet for fridges, and I want to do a spreadsheet for solar panels. So keep an eye out for those. They just require so much work, so it's just taking time to do that. But yeah, good morning, Jason. Yeah, good morning to you. It's 12 o'clock where you're at. Anyway. Thank you so much, guys, for joining in the random live stream. Really appreciated it, and super awesome to chat with you guys, answer your questions. I love just kind of getting to work with my community, and I can be more of myself on these live chats. I'm not so much of a robot as I am in my review videos. So anyway, we'll go ahead and end the stream. Yeah, Yeti needs to go out to the bathroom, I bet. He's coming to tell me, hey, it's too late. Come let me out. Okay. Have a good one, guys. We'll see you later.